Hey everybody, coming and joining us on our GSN webinar today. Really happy to have you. I'm here with Megan in the control room. I'm Joanna Roach, Executive Director of GSN Planet. I'm here with Carol Stratford, partner at Hutchinson Consulting. So excited to
Hi.
have you, Carol.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Excited.
We'll give everybody a few minutes to come in and then we will get started. Happy Tuesday, although we were just discussing it feels like a Monday.
It definitely feels like a Monday to me today.
I know that happens sometimes, right? So I want to just give a shout out to Hutchinson for doing this program for us, Carol. It's really awesome that you and Michael and Christine partnered with us on this 4-part series, because I think, you know, it's great content for folks, especially folks who are looking to sort of revitalize or reinvent themselves or seeing what other opportunities are out there in the world. And, you know, this is a time where there's a lot of questions about where we're going and what we're doing. And it's nice to have some conversation around all of that. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. I know there are a lot of great webinars out there, and, you know, it's our hope that through each of these that you'll be able to take at least, you know, a few takeaways from each of these short webinars that we're offering.
Great. And so today, your focus is on updating your brand and your marketing, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right. All right. So for those of you who don't know Carol, Carol is a partner at Hutchinson Consulting, and she's had a dynamic career in strategic marketing that has allowed her to develop a widely recognized expertise in hospitality and wellness. She's a leader in her field, known for analyzing trends and forecasting sales to develop long-term strategies, key objectives, and operational execution plans based on business best practices, as well as maximum growth and profitability. Because Carol began in public relations and then moved into marketing, she has the rare ability to understand the perception of a brand in the marketplace, and she has used her unique vision to help develop and deploy innovative marketing plans for some of the most successful brands in the industry. And I've had the pleasure of working with Carol for a while now, so I'm happy to have her with us today and looking forward to hearing what you have to say, Carol.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I think I'm going to share my screen now.
Okay.
If I can figure out how to do this. I did have it earlier. Hold on. I definitely don't want to spend the time looking at myself here. So, okay. There we go.
All right, all good.
I'm going to move everybody over here. Okay, everybody, thank you again for the welcome. Joanna, I'm excited to be here, and hopefully we'll leave some time at the end of this presentation so that I can answer any questions that you might have. I took a quick peek at who registered for the webinar, and I think it's a wide range of people. So while I might not be speaking directly about your product, a lot of these things that I'm talking about can be applied universally through products, services, locations, destinations, those types of things. And I really wanted to give a quick introduction for those who don't know, you know, who is Hutchinson Consulting? We specialize in wellness and hospitality, and we have basically 3 main areas of service that we offer. Executive recruiting, which we've been known for many, many years. And several years ago, the partners got together when we basically took over Hutchinson Consulting, and we added our expertise. So operations and business development, and then consulting and marketing support services that I kind of oversee. And we have clients in various industries, including spas, online wellness companies, senior living, destination resorts and spas, and wellness retreats. There are 3 partners. Michael Tompkins, he heads up the recruiting side. Christine Huffman, who led the very first webinar, really focuses more on the operations and program development. And then I head up the marketing support. There's a lot of times, though, where we all partner together, as some of these things are very interchangeable. And it allows us to kind of share our expertise with each other. And this series really has been great. We thought kind of giving you a 360 view of some of the things that might need to be addressed, post-COVID in the wellness and hospitality area. And we've made it into a 4-part series. So Christine spoke the last series about the programming piece. I'm going to be talking today about the marketing. Michael will be on the next webinar, and he's going to talk about not just hiring, but how to really staff appropriately and make changes post-COVID. And then the last one I'm going to be doing again, and that's going to be focused on sales training. So really, when things are opening up, and how do you get out there from a sales perspective. So the topic some topics that we're gonna discuss today, basically the world's changed, have you, and really from a marketing perspective. The topics will be, finding your company's unique selling points, understanding your new customer, or has your customer's motivations changed? What's important to them now, post-COVID? And then how do you take that and update your look and feel to align with your kind of new messages? And then, how do you get it out there? What are some quick and fast ways to share your message? So there is a difference between a total rebrand and a refresh. Talking about today is more a refresh. There might be situations where it's really time to rebrand totally, but that's really an extensive endeavor and involves completely kind of restructuring and starting over. A company usually only does that if its mission statement isn't working anymore for them, or if they've changed. A refresh is more of a kind of highlight, making sure that any changes that you might have gone through, maybe you've gone through some programming changes, maybe you've added new products, maybe your target has changed. It's a way to adapt how you're really reaching your customers through your message points and your creative, so that you continue to stand out with your competition. So a lot of people probably wonder, why refresh now in the middle of a pandemic? There's a lot of things going on, budgets are tight, but I actually think it's a really good time to do a quick refresh. Again, we're not talking about a total rebrand that could be very expensive and lengthy. We're talking about something that will help you stand out among the competition. Again, you might want to refresh now to be ready for a rebound. It's really important, I think, right now, when you might be a little slower, to sit back and take a look at your marketing message. The competition is going to be even more steep out there. Imagine the floodgates opening up as things all open up together. Maybe your company's offerings have evolved because of the pandemic. Maybe you're changing what you're offering. And that means if you're changing what you're offering, your message is probably inconsistent. And I think the wellness consumers' needs have really evolved. Consumers, number one, have really had to adapt digitally. I mean, look at us now, we're hosting webinars, and there's a lot of online trade shows happening. There's a lot of online classes. I think that even when things open up, the consumer is going to be so used to working digitally, they're going to expect it, even post-COVID. I think preventative care is top of mind with consumers. I think it was before, but I think it's even more top of mind. Safety is a big factor. While 79% say they'll go back to the spa and beauty businesses that they went to before, 90% report that rigorous sanitation processes that are going to be huge in deciding if they're going to go back to that business. And then from a travel perspective, affluent wellness travelers want to reflect on purpose, their emotional well-being. They want access to wellness activities, and they want to feel safe about the destinations and experiences that they're considering. So we kind of know that some of the needs of our consumers have kind of evolved, and we want to make sure that we're going to evolve with them. So the first step is really to refresh your brand, is really making sure that you identify your USP or your unique selling proposition. A good way to do this, or a pretty tactical way of doing this, is make a list of what you know about your target audience. Have they changed, or have their needs changed? We just talked about a few things that the wellness consumer, how their needs have changed. And then make a list of all the needs that your product or service could do or does to meet those. And then look at your competitors. Pick maybe 2 or 3 of your biggest competitors and measure these against your competitors and against the trends. Are you on trend on what the consumer's looking for, and how do you stack up against your competitors? And then match it up. Are you doing this well? Is this something you're doing well that you can tout? To ensure that you have the right USP, you want to make sure that it's really unique, or could your competitor say the same thing? Like, we have a beautiful spa. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful spas there, but what makes your spa beautiful? I think that although this seems like a simple exercise, it's very critical to take the time to do it, and do it, spend the time to do it right. Because really these unique selling propositions are going to drive your strategy. You want to take these USPs to develop new key message points and maybe even a new positioning statement. And they're going to be used to inform your marketing plan and your strategy and how you're going to go out there and reach new people. They're also going to inform your consumer-facing creative, your photography, your ad campaigns. Maybe your logo and tagline needs to be updated, your color palette, your social media campaigns, anything that is consumer-facing. And then it's really, how do you take these new messages or this new positioning, and how do you get it out there in an efficient manner, especially with budgets as tight as they are now? I like to think that in terms of reaching your audience, that there's 4 points to consider when choosing the right vehicles, meaning what type of media do I need to reach my customers? Is it digital? Is it social? Is it PPC? Is it SEO? Is it blogs? What are the things? The first thing to do is, what's available to you? What assets do you have? Do you have great photography? Do you have good video? Is it you don't have great video, but you have perfect pictures? What are the things that are available? And then take a look at your audience, and where do you find them? How can you find those people? And the third thing is, how fast can you get it out there? Again, we just talked about how competition is so going to be so steep, and there's going to be so much competition in the market as things are opening up. How fast can you get out there with the right message? And then the fourth thing I like to consider is, what do you want this message to, or this creative piece, what action do you want people to take once it's been communicated? And we're going to go through kind of each of these points a little bit in more detail. So for assets available, video is a great way to reach your market, your target market. I think people are spending more and more time on social media. They're spending, they're at home, they're having time in between calls, they're more comfortable with it, and it doesn't have to be done. It doesn't have to be, done by a production company. But video, like a short 45-second content, can be leveraged on social media networks for both paid for social media advertising, but also as content post. It's great to start up a YouTube channel if your brand doesn't have one. That's a great place to host all of your video assets. You can also use the video on your website or embed it in your email marketing. Beautiful imagery is great. It's perfect for Instagram and to update your website. Those are probably the best platforms to showcase your imagery. Instagram doesn't give much room for text, which is why it's great to have kind of that same imagery on your website so that you have the time to kind of enhance it with some copy. And then if you don't have video or you don't have beautiful imagery, you can also, kind of make a graphic that can be posted across social channels or used for advertising, used in emails or your website. From an audience perspective, you have the existing clients, your advocates. I like to use personalized emails and text messages via mobile. And then, followed by kind of a long form print piece that can be distributed on site or via mail. Kind of like the secondary is like-minded people, reaching them through paid ads, PPC or Google Display, Facebook and Instagram. They basically, I think, offer some of the best targeting available right now. So those are easy ways to get your message out quickly. Immediacy, it's critical when messaging must be done quickly. You can shorten the length to deliver like kind of a basic message, and that can be done with text messaging and email. And you can kind of follow that up with maybe a longer video or a blog post. Also immediately, one thing that I think a lot of people don't do is claim their Google business, Google My Business. I can't tell you how many clients, even big resorts, have forgotten to claim their Google business. And that really helps make your content even more searchable and viewable because let's face it, Google kind of owns the internet. So making sure, I think if there's one takeaway today, go make sure that you've claimed your Google business. Non-critical or promotion, social posts, maybe social paid ad posts. So those are probably secondary in terms of immediacy. And then make sure you have a desirable action, like you're doing the things to give you the action you want people to take. So meaning, do you want them to visit your website? Do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to join your email? Consider that when you're developing your creative. And I thought it'd be a good time to kind of show you some real examples. Some we've worked on, others I thought were good examples to kind of show you. Here's the first one. And some have adapted because of COVID. This is one, Kripalu. They've adapted to online programming. So we actually have worked on Kripalu and they've basically taken their whole programming and moved it online. And they're also, you can tell this is just a clip from their website, but they're mentioning, we are here for you. They've changed, it's still the look and feel of Kripalu, but they've adapted to their target market by going online. So they're bringing the business to them. It's actually doing quite well. One of our clients, Casa de Campo, I gotta go back, hold on. How do I go back? There'll be a small delay here. Okay, Casa de Campo is basically a 40-year-old resort, and they were in need of, they did a multi-million-dollar renovation, were in need of updated messaging. And what we did with we did a lot of research, and what we found was that they were basically the first Caribbean resort. They have the most activities, and they won the most awards. So we took all of that and helped them really hone in on their key message, which really helped them then inform all of the creative that we developed with them. So really take, what is it that they offer that nobody else in their competitive set can offer, and boiled it down to one key message, which is actually a lot harder than it seems. And then we're going to, so this is their key message that they ended up with. And from that, we were able to develop creative and a new tagline: the best, the most, and the first. There's not a lot of places that can say that. And we basically took that and were able to claim that and weave it throughout the creative that we've done for them. This is the one with the polo is there a print ad, and then Discover the Caribbean's Best Kept Secret is a digital ad. But always kind of showcasing the best, the most, the first. Home Health is another client that I have, and they are an integrative wellness practice that also has a full service spa, a healthy cafe, complementary therapies like cryotherapy, a salt room, infrared saunas, and a medical practice. So it's kind of the first of its kind in a community. And the first ad is the first ad that we did in 2017. And it really served the client well. But they wanted to showcase some new doctors that they had and really showcase the functional medicine piece of their business. The spa was doing great. The cafe was doing great. They've capped off their membership, and the place of growth for them was really the integrative medicine practice. And so we developed new creative. You can still tell that it's very similar. It's not a total brand redo, it's a refresh. And kind of developed this to answer, their need for attracting more medical memberships. Immunology, that is a client that Julie Callahan from American Spa, who's now with Hutchinson, works on. And they, during COVID, had to adapt and build a new audience. So they were changing their focus from B2B to direct to consumer. And part of that was, because of everything with COVID, so they had to adapt. And some of the things that were done were creating a new brand book and press kit with a kind of a refresh of the brand image. They created new digital content, again, more based on consumers. They introduced the Immunologist program, which gives you a free consultation with an esthetician so that you can, prior to buying the product, you're going to have the best products for your skin. They focused on current consumer needs and promoted new package offerings like the immunity boosting packages that are going to be, that were what the consumer was looking for during COVID, or the mask knee product package because of what's happening, with everybody wearing their masks. They also launched a direct-to-consumer brand ambassador program, and they cleaned up social media accounts. I'm going to show you a couple of those here. So the first thing they did was went in and tried to make some of those consumer-facing products or assets more consumer-friendly or more aesthetically appealing, I think. The one on the left is prior to the brand refresh, and the one on the right is really taking over the social assets, and you can see the consistency is better. It's easier to follow. There's more topics that would appeal to more of a consumer versus business to business. And then here's a flyer that they had, no more masked knee, again, direct to consumer, but also focus their messaging focused on, you know, what is happening out there and being able to adapt to that. I work with Sensei Lanai, and there's been a lot of changes. They basically, they opened right before COVID hit, and then they closed, the island closed basically, and they're reopening now and doing a lot of branding based on, you know, some of the things that consumers are looking for now, which is safe travel, outdoor activities, really appealing to the new wellness trends of, you know, they're actually poised very well to enter the market because everything that they offer is what the consumer who's traveling right now or going to be in the near future is looking for. So wellness travel, focus on personalization. Even their spa is set up in individual halls. You don't sit in a, you know, in a quiet room with lots of people. It's very private. There's lots of outdoor activities. And the island is very secluded and private. So for them, they had the right product. They needed to get it into the right messaging. And this is just some of their brand assets. Blackberry Farm, I don't work with Blackberry Farm, although I'd love to go there. But I thought that they did a great job on their, basically on their homepage. I'm going to see if this works. They incorporated a video, again, showcasing the outdoors and the space that they have. And all of those things that when we're thinking about travel, wine, that we're thinking about travel, look, there's not a lot of people there, so you feel like it's private, you're getting fresh air, you feel safe. Again, using those video assets, and they've made shorter clips of this so that they can incorporate it into their other marketing. And I'm going to make you watch all of that here. Oop, where did mine go? Let's see. Obviously, I don't work with Netflix either, but here's a brand extension that they did to answer the need of their target markets as their needs changed over, you know, COVID, and help fight isolation and build that community that they love. So Netflix Party, it's a new way to watch basically Netflix with your friends. You can synchronize video playback, and you can do group chat. I've actually done this, it's kind of fun. So you can host kind of those long distance movie nights and TV parties. But you can tell it's still the Netflix brand, they've just done kind of an extension. And then this is another one. You know, it's always great to support a cause. And I think, again, we know this is Guinness. This happened right when the pandemic started, and I guess when everything kind of shut down. I think this is a great little, again, another little video clip that they use for a commercial. It's always good to finish with a beer ad. Anyway, thank you. And I'm open for questions.
Thanks, Carol. That was great. That was really great. So I have some questions. How did people approach you when this was happening? Like, what were they knowing that they needed this, or were they more like, what do we do next? Do you know what I mean? Like, what approach did they take?
Well, I think both. There were a few people who were already thinking, oh, my brand is kind of stale and I need a fresh approach. I don't know how to react to this. And then there were other people who were, I don't know what to do. You know, we're kind of at a loss here. And so we look at each client individually, and we look at each budget individually too, because, you know, not everybody has a lot of money to produce video, to have a photo shoot. So, you know, what can you do with what you have? And that's the approach that we look at.
Right. And what if you are an individual, right? Say you're an independent contractor, or you're a therapist, or you're an esthetician, and you're not really sure how to fit into this marketplace. What advice would you have for folks like that?
I think that, you know, building your own brand is just as important as building a brand for a company or a product. I think some of these things can be done on a smaller level, or, you know, not as, I guess, detailed as, you know, some of the things that I talked about. But social media is a great way to build your brand from an individual practitioner perspective. You know, look at us now, we're all hosting a meeting and I'm in my son's room. So, you know, the video doesn't have to be perfect, but you can offer tips from your own home. There's ways that you can build your own brand that will help leverage you, I think, for positions, and I also think for new clients.
Wow. And do you have so if someone wanted to I don't know, say do an audit of their personal brand, right? Like, what are some steps that you would take?
Right. Well, I think I would definitely start with the steps that I talked about. You know, what is it that you offer in your own personal brand that might be different from somebody else? Make a list of what those are, and then weigh it against your social media, any products that you have, any services that you offer, and make sure that aligns with, number one, you know, are you telling people what it is that you do? Or number two, if you've changed kind of, you know, what you're offering, have you done that? So taking, okay, these are my unique selling points. This is what I do. How do I look against my competition? Is this really set me apart? And then is that transferable to how I'm communicating to my clients, right? Whether it's through social media, through if you have an email list, and making sure that those align.
Okay, great. Those are some great ideas. I'm wondering if other folks have questions as well. Do we have any in the chat, Megan?
So far, nothing.
All right.
Chance to ask a personal question.
I know.
Your chance.
Your chance. Anybody? So I have one last question for you, Carol. What do you think? Where do you think we're going? Right? Like, you know, I'm liking asking people that question, because I think that we are sort of in this space of reinventing, you know, our industry really in many, many ways, and also the ways in which people connect and the ways in which people do business. What are your thoughts about that?
You know, I definitely see a shift already. I think that people are going to be more accustomed to virtual, whether that's interacting. I do a lot of my clients I haven't seen face to face in a long time. I don't think anything's ever going to take the place of that, but this certainly does provide an enhanced experience than just talking on a phone. So I can see your face, I can see your reactions, those types of things.
Right.
So I do think that there is going to be a shift to digital that's going to have to match anything that you're going to be doing in person. And I think that's true for you know, personally, if you're working, to, you know, if you're a, you know, if you're a business that's moved to online, I think you're going to have a component, you know, if you haven't done it yet, figure a small component, a way to do that, as people are getting used to adjusting to that, and they're going to expect it moving forward.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's true. I think it's true. Well, thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, and I think we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, that's right. I'll see you in November.
All right, that's great. That is great. All right, everyone, you have been watching Carol Stratford of Hutchinson Consulting talk about updating your brand and marketing focus, and we appreciate her wisdom and insight. And this is part of our Revitalization 4-part series with Hutchinson Consulting. We'll be back on October 20th with Michael Tompkins, and his topic will be reorganizing and restructuring your leadership. So we will look forward to that. And thanks to everyone for joining, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, Carol.
Bye-bye.